Hi, Mark from Kansas here for redwormcomposting.com. It's about the, my last post I showed how my bedding went really way down. And since then I've had quite a few pounds of feed to this. If you can come over here and take a look, right here, if you remember correctly, that picture I took maybe about a week and a half ago, it was at this level. Since then I've added close to 47 pounds. And if you can see this stuff here, this is good VC right here. This is good vermicompost right here. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a top harvest, simply because my feeling is that's what I need to do for my bin. So what I'm going to do is find a place for my coffee. And then I'm going to scoop some of this up. I'll scoop it up in this big tub here. You see all this paper still in there? I'm just going to leave that behind. And I'm going to try to go down about 2 inches. I'm going to remove about 2 inches. And I'm going to harvest some vermicompost. So here's what I do. Is I come over here, and here's my wheelbarrow, and at the bottom I put some newspaper, and I'll just take this. Well, here's some more big stuff. I don't need that. I'll take that and dump that on there, like that. And then I'm going to shake it. Can you hear that sound? That's that vermicompost. That's black gold, that is. Now a lot of people say that that's a lot of stress on the worms and all that stuff, but this is how I've always done it. And people don't like to bug their worms and stuff. People say they don't like to bug their worms, but that's fine for them. That's how their bins work, and I'm okay with that. And then here's what's left on the screen. There's a lot of worms, big material, mostly paper. There's some leaf skeletons and things like that. I don't see any real food particles, and believe me, I have dumped a ton. Well, let's not say a ton. Quite amount of kitchen waste in here, and there's none there. Now shake it up some more. And if you look here, here it is. That's some really nice vermicompost. And there's some worms and things in there, and I'll pull them out. This stuff here, I'm just going to go ahead and dump in this bucket. And the reason that is I'm just going to do this whole side over here. I'm going to do this whole side over here, redump this back, whatever's in this bucket, and then add some manure. One thing I noticed too about this screening method, and I tried this the other night, is you see this worm here, it's kind of wrapped up. I don't know if you can see him or not, but he won't drop through unless he actually feels something, and that's when he'll start to move down. I think his head to go through. It was a behavioral characteristic I noticed the other night, but I'll just go ahead and pull him through. I tried screening at a 1/4 inch, and I noticed they all they would all wrap up in here. And I was trying to harvest worms, but they'd all get wrapped up in here, and I noticed that they just hang there, and they'd wrap up in the coils. So I was trying to pick them off one at a time, and I realized when I stuck my finger up to one of them, they could feel something to grab, and then they would migrate down. So this whole thing was full of worms last night, so I just set it on the bin on top of the bedding here, and they found something that they could touch. And once they did that, this thing was clear of worms in 5 minutes. So if there's another, something somebody wants to research on, go right ahead. I mean, because it was a kind of interesting kind of thing. So that's what I'm doing with this, and I'm going to try and pull. I'm hitting about 616 pounds of trash in here right now. So I'm figuring a reduction rate of 90%. I'm going to try and pull about 60 pounds of finished vermicompost out of here. This bin isn't flowing through the way I want it to, and I think a lot of it has to do with my artificial heat and it's drying out the bottom and what have you. But my experience tells me that this has got to be changed out. This is finished VC. It's good VC, and it's ready to go, and they're ready for some fresh food, and to really get them going. So that's what's going to happen, and I'll show you some still pictures later on redworm composting. I'll show you some still pictures later on redworm composting about you know how much I end up getting on all that stuff. Thanks for tuning in. This is Mark from Kansas for redwormcomposting.com.